We're now to the discussion calendar, item number 11, Recycling and Solid Waste Division Residential Collection Program Update.
Good evening, Mayor Johnson, members of the council. For the record, I'm Steve Harriman. I am your Integrated Waste General Manager. And that concludes my presentation.
All right. Any members from the public?
People, wake up and do something for the people.
Councilmember Cone.
Yeah, thank you.
You're up, sir.
All right. Could you go back to your slide, Steve, where you showed the reasons that you think...
Reasons why it's down?
Yeah, why it's down. Slow economy, print publication going digital, and blame it on the bee. Reduce it.
Well, no, I won't say in reference to this. I mean, the question is if we go back to 2008, in those years when we had a weekly program, that tonnage is very consistently and significantly down year over year. So
well, I can see why during the recession it was down, but now versus last year, though, we don't have a worse recession this past year than we had the year before.
Yeah.
If anything, the economy is improving, very slowly, but. So that's what I'm getting as this year versus last year. I agree. When you look back 5 years, certainly everything was down because of the recession. Surprising is that even though recycling went down, garbage also went down. That's a little surprising. I would have thought.
Yeah. Right.
In Portland, they went to biweekly garbage collection rather than biweekly recycling. Again, anecdotally, it seems to me, certainly during summer months, that probably makes sense because of the heat and the rate at which garbage, food waste especially, deteriorates. But I got to be honest, the option of charging people $1.50 more for a whole year, and then a year later we're going to finally increase service. That just, did I misunderstand what you were proposing? I thought you were saying we would have to raise rates for a year before you could even. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilmember Cone covered some of the stuff I wanted to raise, and I think he hit on a good point. The switch to bi-monthly recycling, which is what we're talking about, bi-weekly would be twice a week, is probably the largest cause of the reduction. If you can be more flexible in working with us, with our customers, whether it's Envision Sacramento, which I think can be a useful platform, or some other more scientific way.
All right, Pro Tem, you are up.
Thanks, Mayor. So, yeah, I am in complete agreement with the Steves over here. And I just have a couple of points separately that I'd like to make. But I agree with everything that they've said, so if you're looking for feedback from the council on that. And then, your chart, as Councilmember Cone pointed out, that shows the amount of times that people recycled, that chart could be the chart on any thing that you want it to be. Because all that does is tell us what the economy did over that period of time. It would be exactly the same if we looked at spending at retailers or tax income or the housing market or insert the or here. I don't think that chart that makes your pyramid is an indication to us about whether or not bi-monthly versus weekly recycling. So, I just feel like there are a lot of, this feels to me like homework where we can only see the answer, but we can't see where you worked out the problem. And that's hard for me. And to say to us that we have to charge people $1.50 more actually is kind of irritating to me. $1.50 came from. There's no equation that shows us, not even in the report that says this is how many hours or how many people. There's some things that touch on that, but I don't understand it. I don't think it's good enough, and I'm a little bit disappointed that what came back to us wasn't more thorough. So, sorry.
All right, Councilmember McCarty.
Mayor, not to keep beating this, but first, Mr. Hanson, how about a fourth can? So incentivizing people or encouraging people to get a second can, I don't support that option. And I would like us to do some type of a survey, whether it's Neighborhood Services Department do these great things where they have these little groups to come, some type of polling or something like that. I'm not sure if you do a true poll.
Councilmember Fong.
I haven't really received many calls about recycling. Very few, but recently received more about maintaining our rates, about the balance of raising our rates versus the ones who want to maintain recycling weekly or not. And so there's a balance. Some people don't want to pay the extra $1.50 to pick up the cans. I got some calls today about that issue after the article in the Bee. So in my district, I'm just a different district for my demands are a little bit different than the other districts. But how do you balance out the charges? So that is something we'll have to address. I think outreach would help, but ultimately we have to deliver service at affordable costs. Thank you.
Yes, these men and their hypnotized followers call this a new order. It is not new, and it is not order.